The time has come, especially if you are free to play, to make decisions about farming units for the Banquet event, Cyber Weekend deals, and maybe a sneaky Kabam-based, I don't know, situation of offers like we've seen before that Kabam do. Oh, and StatCast. So based on some estimates and calculations, we are likely to see about 58,000 plus units between now and the end of the year. If we go by the general structure of the Banquet event of last year, which was about, I think, the 20th of December for launch, let's go with it will be around the 19th of December, which is a Friday. Very important because 2 weeks is how this event runs for. And as well, I'm sure Kabam, if they launch it on a Wednesday, the 17th, that they won't be wanting to conclude this event until, say, past the 31st of December, because who wants to work New Year's Eve at Kabam headquarters? So it could be 19th to the 2nd. It could even be the 24th to the 7th. However, I'm sure when it comes to like parting with your money, it is highly likely it's going to go for the 19th to the 2nd. Gives you time going into the new year. That's what I think it's going to do. So I'm going with the Banquet event ending on the 2nd of January 2026, which gives 172 days between kind of today-ish, could have been yesterday, and of course 24 weeks and 4 days. So let's try and estimate some units you're able to get from doing Arena, from doing just some of the regular events without having to do Arena. Let's see how many units you can potentially get between now and the end point of this year's and going into early year's festivities. So based on those 172 super daily event days you can do, 5,000 units for literally doing next to nothing. Super daily event is one of the best places to go in order to grab yourself some units. 30 units, as you said, doing nothing, revive, health potion, nice, and other things as well. There could be some random events, and let's face it, Kabam does throw out the randomest of events at times that you just don't think would have units, and then all of a sudden has some units to it. It's part of the rewards and units budget. Doing the various event quests, including Valiant, could give a nice substantial amount of units. Calendar, 570 units. Yeah, we'll go with that. Banquet event itself, you usually get 1,150 units for free, because Kabam don't give you that extra 50 units. It's in order to encourage you to spend more units on actual crystals. Various double tracks. I've kind of benchmarked in about the finish mark for ours, which is about 800 in the current one that we're doing at the moment. Maybe a second one and maybe a little bit of a third one, but it's a bit of a pie eye in the sky type reach to say that is actually going to be a thing. Most of the time it's not. Kabam will probably only do one more fully between now and the end of the year, but wishful thinking, isn't it? Alliance 7 days, 24 of them, 1,440 units. Act 9.3 and 9.4, collectively 1,080 units, providing Kabam put 9.4 out this year. Probably will. Reunion event 2025, 500 units. Yeah, possible. Could be a little bit less, could be a little bit more. Reunion crystals that you get from there could actually give you some good things as well. Fabulous crystals or a Deadpool-based event, which might happen in November or might not. 500 units. A Heart of Fire style event, if Kabam do it, they usually give about 600 units. Could happen, maybe not. Year of Radiance, or the last part of the Year of Radiance, 3,750 units. If you don't want to farm that much Arena and you're happy to just coast along and you're getting Radiance, it's not too bad of a grab. I'm actually doing it at the moment, and it is helping me without having to farm a lot more units from Arena, which I do have to do. I've got to get 2,500 more units before I finish off Act 9.3 to get a lower cost rank for 7-star champion, so which will then be like, I'll probably have 2, nearly 3 to add in. Not bad from a non-spending player perspective. That doesn't farm that much Arena at the moment, but I need to do Arena, as we can see here. Add your Arena grind into it, and you get to 58,387 units. Okay, the video is going to be kind of cut into 2 parts. Part 1 is focused on the farming side of things, and part 2 is focused on, well, what difference is it going to actually make? Because we've seen some really shocking things from Kabam this year that has made us really think about how many units we actually going to need and how many units Kabam think is applicable to take away from us, and of course money-wise and other stuff like that. But 58k or just over 58k is pretty darn good, right? It's all good. I like it. There's also like a low end farming if you are doing all of the kind of various things that we mentioned and less on the arena. First of all, from a baseline perspective, and not including the Radiance, not including some other stuff as well. If you are just a bog standard player that could do all of the stuff listed here, not the Radiance based kind of trading, you're looking at about 16,705 units. Not too bad. Gets you a few kind of like deals in the Cyber Weekend deals, all saved for the Banquet event, depending on what it's going to be, or it's going to be disappointment. If you do a little bit of extra arena grind into that one and get a little bit lucky with your RNG and your crystals, you could see 32k. That is a really solid Cyber Weekend set of deals, or it's at least a little in at 21,000 plus anything remainder left over for that. But let's see if it's actually going to make a difference. The question is, will this actually make any kind of difference whatsoever? Well, kind of like quick answer is yes, but what do you want to get out of the end of the year? The end of the year being the Banquet event, Cyber Weekend deals. The Banquet event last year, like I tried to predict that and I put higher amount of units in prediction and people went higher than that. So same thing will be this year. Last year, you could get into the 1% area with 40,000 units. Now, for that 58,000 units, it is doable with some extra change left over for the Cyber Weekend event. But let's face it, this year, I'm sure players will put more units in. People may say it's Kabam's fault, but also it's players' fault as well. The more units you put in, the more you increase that rank. Guess what? If everybody put in a low amount of units, what's that? Oh, yes, right. The rank goes down because people are investing less. But that's not how it's going to work. Everybody puts in more units year on year. And it's if you've been following the channel, then you know that's a fact. You can see right here, last year it was 40,000 units to get into the 1%, and at 32, and basically, at 58,000, yes, you'll have some change left over, 18,000 units to be used in something like the Cyber Weekend deals. If you're looking at, say, 32,000 from, we said, the other scenario, then yes, that puts you into the 2 to 3% kind of bracket area that you'll be able to get some all right stuff. But again, like that 2 to 3% was an in at 24,600 units. So therefore, you could keep around about 8,000-ish units to use in something like the Cyber Weekend deals, or maybe you won't. It depends what you want to prioritize. Is the Banquet event always good? Yes. Is it very expensive? Yes. But you don't always get out what you think you're going to get from it. There are some things and scenarios and some issues that I do want to raise with people, and it is this year's bad habit or bad circumstance that Kabam have injected into this community, and that is putting a cap on the extent of, we had Heatwave deals, we've had Hunter's Market, we've had the Sinister Sentinel Sideshow, and we've had a few other things as well, where the unit cost to get the top end milestone of something, it's obviously for your free-to-play player, is higher. We had Hunter's Market, it was 15,000 units to get a 7-star version of Craven. But July 4th deals set a really bad precedence in that it was 39,000 units to get the top champion. Now, if Kabam put out a Dr. Doom, a 7-star version of a top champion that hasn't had a release yet, and they put 39,000 units, then guess what? You are now out of pocket by about 19,000 units, providing you've done the grind for the top end. So, these kind of scenarios here. So that's always disappointing. It, of course, means for those that are the low end, 32,000 units is not necessarily possible. And a lot of the time you do feel trapped in some of these deals that they're focusing you in a certain direction that you just don't want to go into. But you kind of go, well, I'm part way here now. I've got the units. I guess I'll have to. So take it as you see. Is it going to be something to chase? Maybe. Is it something to chase that you'd like? Possibly. But that's only individually to each individual player on what you want to grab. The Cyber Weekend deals as well. If you're looking to inject a lot of those units we said that you could farm into these deals, you will still find some good stuff. You get more choice than the July 4th deals, where you have to be roped into a sector of choice, a tier of choice, or multiple tiers of choice. At least with the Hunter's Market, Cyber Weekend deals, which might or might not be the title. They're going to be a different title, of course. You'll be able to choose freely some of these, and that's great. You unlock them and you're able to grab more of them, giving you more freedom of choice. And I love freedom of choice. Cyber Weekend deals are when the devaluation over the course of the year hits. But I think as well, and this is the last point I'm going to leave you with before I end the video, you can farm 58,000 units and you can farm 32,000 units. Make sure that they are going to be used to actually get value back for your roster and you're not just going for the shiny things. There's some big things being launched this year. Stat relics, stat casts. There's likely to be, I think there's going to be a big piece of content that's put out, like an Everest piece of content, similar to Necropolis, because Kabam will be looking to inject new progression. They haven't done it thus far this year, but I do think there'll come a point where they'll just like get Valiants and separate out. So you might want units for revives or to kind of like get yourself through some difficult content, or buy some of the 9.3 or 9.4 offers and deals that will likely come up. You know, it's going to happen. So make a decision about what's best for you. That's been a video on the farm and the possibilities of what you actually get back from it, and whether or not the 1% of and 2 to 3% of the banquet event is going to mean something to you. Well, could do. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.